Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Hoy nos jugamos un juego con el Imperio de España. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. If I carry on doing any more Spanish, well, I love to practice. I'll probably make a ton of mistakes, so let's leave it there, shall we? We are indeed playing as Spain. King Philip II is here. And we are playing on a true start European map. As you can see, this does very much look like your classic Spanish Iberian Peninsula, with Mogadishu representing Portugal, and a little bit of Africa at the bottom here with a whole bunch of bobs. So we have some things to be getting on with. We are like turn 40 or so we're in the process of building Mahabodhi. We have a couple of builders here to help chop to make sure this happens. We haven't got any diplomatic points yet, but that will obviously be happening shortly. We also have a settler over here looking to find a home. May come up over here. Maybe there's some spot here as well. We'll see what happens in that. And of course we found Germany over to here, which is where Germany would be, just like the True Start European map says so. For our game, we've met 4 other people. We're trying to befriend Suleiman of Turkey, but he doesn't want to know yet. We shall see how that goes. And yeah, of course we found Geneva, Switzerland, so a science game would have been possible, but we're going to be going for a diplomatic win con this time around. Let's take a look at Philip's kit, shall we, and see how he fares for us with a diplomatic game. El Escorial. Inquisitors can remove heresy 1 extra time, and I presume that just means using their religious spreads, and because they're Inquisitors, they particularly refer to removing heresy because they're effective at almost being pseudo-proselytizers, I guess. Well, I never tend to use Inquisitors. I rarely dabble with them because they're so weak physically in religious combat, and particularly they're not allowed to venture into anyone else's lands but your own. So it makes it very difficult for me to want to prioritize them over either missionaries or apostles, you know, for the cost that they are, for their limitations. But granted, the Spanish ones are better. I don't know what the regular percentage is, but apparently the Spanish ones eliminate 100% of the presence of other religions. So they certainly can help you stave off losing your religion entirely. Combat and religious units have a bonus of 5 combat strength against players following other religions. You know, that's really strange because I'm so used to dealing with people's genders, and I know that Philip II hates you having a different religion and calls you a blasphemer and a betrayer of God if you do. And it's like, why would he be so upset about that if he can take the bonus of me having a different religion for that ability? Seems a bit strange. Anyway, treasure fleets may form fleets and armadas. Note that there's only naval seafaring units and not, land units. With mercantilism instead of nationalism and mobilization, which is incredibly early by comparison, but of course situational. Trade routes receive +3 gold, +2 faith, and +1 production on top of their base yields, presumably. So that's quite nice, like every single trade route. Trade routes between multiple continents receive triple these numbers. So of course, you notice that we have a map that spreads between Europe and Africa. So if we get a couple of cities down there, we can make a whole bunch of economy with those sort of trade routes. Cities not on your original capital continent receive +25% production toward districts and a builder when founded, which is an awful lot of goodies for this sort of effect. It's unfortunate that we don't really have that much of an opportunity to take advantage of a continental split. But, the opportunity is there in limited number. Conquistador. Spanish unique Renaissance era unit that replaces the musketman. +10 combat strength when there is a religious unit within 1 hex. If this unit captures a city or is adjacent to a city when it is captured, the city will automatically adopt the conquistador player's religion as a dominant religion. Now that sounds nice, but there are a couple of reasons why I really don't like this sort of thing. In every religious game I do, I tend to, again, like I have here, try to befriend everybody. And the reason for that is because I want to make sure that they can't just simply condemn my units if they go to war with me. Like, going to war with somebody is asking for trouble when you have missionaries and apostles vulnerable to just simple takeover and eradication like that. And on top of that, once you start spreading religion to other civilizations, you're almost certainly going to incur grievances, which makes it incredibly difficult for you to be able to befriend anybody else. So try to avoiding that, not making it more difficult for my religious units to be in other territories, to me is worth it more than this ability. And then don't forget as well, if you are trying to do a religious game, if you've conquered a city, like, you don't really care for that city to have your religion, because that doesn't help you get any further to, conquering everybody else. Like, the whole point of a religious victory is that you have a dominant religion in everybody else's territory. If that's no longer their territory, it doesn't count towards your religious game. So, it again, is kind of a bit counterproductive, I'd say. Anyway, mission. Unlocks the builder ability to construct a mission unique to Spain, +2 faith, +2 faith, +1 production, and +1 food if on a different continent than your capital, like those ones in Africa maybe. +1 science for each adjacent campus and holy site district. Now, that's very strange because holy sites is faith. I don't know what they got to do with science or why they're giving you more science. You would think maybe +1 faith for a holy site district adjacency, but whatever. It's a thing. It might help you with doing a science game with Philip, additional science once cultural heritage is discovered, +2 loyalty per turn for cities with a mission improvement. Also, I want to touch that discovered is always a strange terminology for me, because do they mean discovered? Because like in a civic or tech shuffle game, you've discovered technically all the techs. The only difference to that is researched. But in a tech shuffle game, there are moments where you haven't discovered any, or well, maybe some you've discovered because you start off with the ancient era, but like in the future areas after that, you haven't discovered any, and then you go along discovering them and then proceed to research them. So presumably they just mean research, but I don't really like using the term discovered for that point. Like, there's a difference between discovery in a tech shuffle game versus not, so it's very confusing for me, but I presume they mean researched. +2 loyalty per turn for cities with a mission improvement adjacent to the city centre and not in your original capital Scotland. Now that doesn't sound like it stacks, so I don't know if you can get like potentially +12 loyalty for having 6 missions adjacent to your initial capital until you grow it strong enough to survive without that. It would be nice to try and check that out and test it, but I don't think this is a game for us to do that. Welcome back. We've moved on quite a bit now. It's turn 122, and we're getting into the business end of things. We've built quite the empire, haven't we? We have 8 cities, which isn't, compared to these games, modern games, this is an older game, that many in total, but it's a nice stretch of land, and we've been able to obviously take advantage of the second continent and get ourselves no need for loyalty concerns, but a couple of free builders and the likes, and that's been very helpful. In addition, we're also about to finish building Statue of Liberty, which is really powerful for our diplomatic win con. We're currently sitting comfortably in the lead with 8 points. This will, of course, add 4 more for a total of 12. And don't forget that we want to be sitting at either 13 points or less in order to go into the next Congress, which is going to happen in around 16 turns from now. And that is because the AI love to use 13 as the marker between whether they try to apprehend you from winning a Congress or not. And we would like to be able to win the next Congress and set ourselves up for a really comfortable end game. If we can be able to do that, we'd get 5 more additional points, which is maximum points from a Congress, and that would sit us at 17. So a World's Fair and maybe an aid request or 2, that will be enough to help us get over the line. In order to help our economy for our diplomatic favor, we're going to want to change governments from Merchant Republic over to monarchy. This will allow us not only an immediate boost of +10 more diplomatic favor per turn, but also with building a more Renaissance walls with the Limes policy card, as well as maybe a little extra money from our commercial hubs. we'll be able to make sure that we make the most of the turns that we have from now till then, so that when we come to the Congress, we have an overwhelming majority of diplomatic favor and are able to win the Congress that we want to do. In addition, we've been building some other wonders, and that's what's been helping us with our economies on our other values, like currencies, like obviously gold and faith. We have here Jebel Berkel, which has been giving us a ton of iron, as well as being situated between 4 cities quite neatly in the center of our empire, which is really nice for quite a rare opportunity, except, you know, like the only desert hills tile that we really have in proximity, that's at least in the center, built by our capital, which is helping boost our faith. As you can see, we're getting 24.1 faith from Madrid, very nicely from that. In addition, we also built Kilwa Kisawani, which has actually been more profitable than normal, because we have actually been able to keep hold of no less than 4 city suzerainties for only 5s and 6s, which is quite rare for a Deity game on online speed, at least. So we've been able to boost with Alma and Mogadishu and Cardiff, all manner of additional support of production, faith, and gold. We've also been exploring, and we've been finding every other civ, and we've befriended them all, which is exactly where we want to be, so we don't have to worry about war and such things when we're trying to do other win cons. And we've been exploring and realizing that since there is no Scandinavian civilization, they've completely abandoned any opportunity of settling anywhere over here, which is kind of funny. It's a little too frozen for everybody, isn't it? And our galley has been exploring. We even found Iceland over here. Any further left, of course, would be heading into the Americas, so they don't include that in this map. And this would be quite a nice place to be able to settle. I don't know how safe it would be, given this barbarian outpost. This could be a prime settlement location as well. In what has been a relatively slow game, by that, have a look at this. Nobody has completed even the first part of the science, and we're already 156 turns into the game. There are some games where at turn 156 they're almost finished. Maybe not quite at the end, but certainly like up to the 3rd or the 4th. Like, there have been definitely some much more tricky games than this, but anyway, I'll take what I can get. We are sitting fairly pretty. We have 16 diplomatic points, and we have some wins and some losses. Can't win them all, as they say. We are almost assured, especially with our additional 5 grand, to win 2 points off Matthias Corvinus off this aid request. So that's hopefully going to get us to 18 points. But alas, we were unable to win due to Matthias Corvinus this World's Fair. It's kind of unfortunate, but whatever. Also, if we have a look at our Congress, you can see that they chose gold, which I often find very strange. There is occasional times when they choose gold. Most of the time they choose production. So I expect the reason why we're on 16 and not 17 is because I went for production with this one. But we did manage to win our own diplomatic victory, and also I picked ranged to get the military advisory up and running as well. So that's 4 total points. 2 for the 2 correct decisions, and 2 for the bonus gift of that diplomatic victory part. We are building spies. We are in the process of making spies. We already have a master spy, and we're going to be making more of them. That helps us with our gold economy as well, let alone anything like maybe science, tech tree stuff and whatnot. Although, to be fair, we have quite a few boosts already, and we're not really doing a science game, so it doesn't even matter that much. We are likely to get a golden age for the end of the game, which wouldn't be too bad, I guess. There isn't really much at this late stage for a diplomacy game to gain out of a golden age that I know about. That is another thing that could perhaps be looked into with Civ 7 around the corner. I really love this game and most parts of it. And my concern with Civ 7 is more what they changed for the worse, because I think there are many things that the likes of humankind were failed to improve upon, than necessarily what they don't improve. There are some things like movement and the whole like hanging a golden carrot in front of you to then miss out on opportunities that I would like to see me worked. But generally, this has definitely been a great game to play. And what must have taken one of the longest diplomatic games that we've had, in 178 turns, we have indeed won the game. Now, I want to show off that we are in a just one more turn scenario. So I can't actually show you us winning the game, but hey, you can see there that our empire, Spanish Empire, Philip II, has indeed acquired 20 out of 20 diplomatic points for that victory. We were in the process of potentially winning another aid request, though there's of course some hot competition with Hungary leading the charge. We could probably have done this as well. We also ended up making Valencia, which, like I was saying earlier, you know, there's an opportunity for some land, and we are about to actually 1 and 2. So hopefully in some other game or whatever, we can finally take our pikemen and come over here and take that down. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and maybe leave a comment or two. I'm still interested in hearing what you guys want to actually watch. It's hard to kind of gauge what videos will do well, what videos won't, so your feedback is always appreciated. Till next time, see you there.
From your earliest desire to live in peace, to the times when you stood against aggression, you have always sought cooperation. You did not do this merely to brighten your own glory, but because dignity belongs to each of us. And in so doing, you have proved that your ancient and eternal commitment to a shared peace will be the foundation of the world of tomorrow.